Today's lesson is called Dialogue Focus, Going Traveling. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
And I am Roger, and again, we're getting very close here to Chinese New Year. Maybe you've already started to take your winter break and you're still wondering where to go. Well, as you know, here in the northern hemisphere, it's cold during the winter, but in the southern hemisphere, it's summer. So maybe you ought to think about going down under to Australia or to New Zealand or even to South Africa, who knows? But in today's program, we're actually going traveling to New Zealand.
Yeah, not only are we going down under, we're going way down under. Yeah, to get to Australia, wow, you got to go on a really long trip. It's a long airplane flight if you want to do that, okay? There are very few places that are actually close to Australia. If you're in North America, if you're in most of Asia, Europe, whatever, it's going to be a long trip to get to Australia. To get to New Zealand, though, that's even further. It's so far away. But I've heard amazing things about New Zealand. Apparently, it's still pretty much undiscovered. You can still find places there that are pretty new to human beings. How about that? New Zealand is great. Also, like Roger said before, it is in the southern hemisphere, so yes, the seasons are kind of all mixed up, and it sounds weird, but it's true, okay? People in New Zealand, let's say they celebrate Christmas in the middle of summer. How weird, how strange, how cool. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll start our dialogue focus article on going traveling.
Going traveling. Discussing what to pack. Ava and Emily are planning a trip to New Zealand during their winter vacation.
It'll be summer in New Zealand while we're there. We should do as many outdoor activities as possible.
I've already looked some up, actually. How does hiking the Tongariro Alpine Crossing sound?
I'd love to try that. I've heard it described as the hike of a lifetime.
We'll need to pack some special equipment. Since the weather on the crossing is really unpredictable, we have to be prepared.
We can go to an outdoor gear shop later, but we might want to make a list of things to buy first.
Sure, we'll both need boots and several layers of clothing. The outer layer must be waterproof, because you can get hypothermia even in summer if you get soaked through.
We'll need gloves as well if it gets that cold. Is there anything we're missing?
I don't think so. We can hike it in a single day, so we won't need any camping stuff.
That should definitely lighten the load.
大家好，第一部分我们看到单字 unpredictable， 这个字是形容词，指无法预测的、难以预料的。字首 un 表示不、无、反的意思。例如 When Don's work performance became unpredictable, his boss had a talk with him. 当 Don 的工作表现变得难以预测时，他的老板找他面谈。另外，这个字去掉字首 un 就成了反义词 predictable， 指可预测的、可预料的。我们可以说Summer weather can be very predictable, for there are often thunderstorms in the afternoon. 夏季的天气非常容易预测，下午常有大雷雨。接着我们看到形容词 waterproof， 表示防水的。举例来说 Ryan always wears a waterproof jacket whenever he goes hiking. Ryan 登山时总是穿着防水的外套。另外补充2个形容词字尾proof 的相关单字。第一 bulletproof 意思是防弹的，像是 Soldiers on the battlefields will wear bulletproof vests to protect themselves. 战场上的士兵会穿防弹背心保护自己。第二 fireproof 指防火的，例如 The floor in front of this building is fireproof. 这个建筑物前面的地板是防火材质的。
Okay, so again, we're going traveling, and we're traveling to New Zealand, which again is in the southern hemisphere. So here in part 1, we are discussing what to pack. If you're traveling, of course, you need to pack a suitcase or pack a backpack. That means you need to put things that you need in your luggage, in your suitcase, in your backpack. So they're discussing what to pack. And, based on the nature of your travels, that will influence what you actually pack. If you're going someplace cold, then of course you're going to need to pack some warm clothing.
There you go. So you discuss what to pack. You talk about what you're going to bring with you when you travel. Anyways, today, Ava and Emily are planning a trip to New Zealand during their winter vacation. And yes, this is a very adventurous plan. Unless they're in Papua New Guinea or parts of Indonesia, let's say, that's going to be a really, really long trip, okay? Yeah, any plane ride that you want to take down under there, no matter what you do, you're probably going to be on a plane for a really long time. So yes, Ava and Emily sure are adventurous.
They certainly are. So here, Ava begins the conversation by saying, it'll be summer in New Zealand while we're there. So when we are in New Zealand, it will be summer, so the weather will be warm. It might even be very hot. So she says, we should do as many outdoor activities as possible. And I understand this is quite true, even though the city of Auckland or Wellington or Christchurch, those cities offer lots of attractions. I understand that New Zealand is an outdoor paradise. People mainly travel there to see the great outdoors. There are lots of rivers to go kayaking in. You can go hiking in all sorts of places. You can try hang gliding, bungee jumping, you name it, it's got it. So, of course, they need to plan for these outdoor activities. They'll probably need to buy some special equipment.
There you go. Yeah, make sure if you go to New Zealand that you do as many outdoor activities as possible because, like Roger said, it's still a beautiful, kind of undiscovered and untouched wilderness there in New Zealand. It's a wonderful place to do outdoor activities. Anyways, let's hear from Emily. Emily says, I've already looked some up. Actually, so there you go. Ava has a suggestion. Hey, let's make sure that we do as many outdoor activities as possible. But Emily is ahead of the curve here. She says, yeah, I've already looked some up, actually. I've already done some research.
Okay, so she's got a suggestion here. How does hiking the Tongariro Alpine Crossing sound? So I guess this is a famous trail in New Zealand. And according to our lovely recording engineer, it is in the North Island of New Zealand. So yeah, it's like a trail that you can enjoy. In this particular case, I guess it's a day hike, so you don't have to prepare any overnight camping equipment. There are similar trails here in Taiwan, like the trail up to Yushan and stuff like that. I think you can hike up there and back in a day, or like hiking up to Mount Fuji in Japan there. But if you're hiking, say, the Appalachian Trail in the United States, you need to prepare for camping out. In this particular case, though, it just takes a day.
There you go. Wow, this does sound good. And this hike here, apparently, you'll be able to kind of see it all. It's a great hike. Now, how do I know this? I know this based on what Ava says next. She says, oh, I'd love to try that. I've heard it described as the hike of a lifetime. So maybe you won't need to pack much to take this hike. You won't need to prepare yourself to take this particular hike. But hey, if you do take this hike, be prepared to be astonished because, yes, apparently, this is the hike of a lifetime, okay? This is going to be a hike that you will never forget as long as you live.
You'll have great memories, and you might find it difficult to do something as exciting as this, but they're going to try it here, and if you do a hike like this on the Tongariro Alpine Crossing, you're going to need some special equipment. As Emily now says, we'll need to pack some special equipment. They'll need to pack or buy some special gear, some special equipment. Since the weather, or because the weather on the crossing is really unpredictable, We have to be prepared. Like the Boy Scouts say, always be prepared. And, of course, the weather is unpredictable. This is kind of true of the weather in Taipei. For example, sometimes you head out in the morning. It's a nice sunny day, but hey, pretty soon it starts to rain and you forgot your umbrella. So it's very difficult to know what it's going to do. That's what unpredictable means. You just can't predict it. You just can't know in the future what it's going to do. And the weather can be unpredictable, but people can be unpredictable too. Hey, watch out for John. He's very unpredictable. Sometimes he's in a good mood and sometimes he's really angry.
So be prepared for John and his moods. Anyways, they do need this special equipment, and that's what Ava starts talking about next. She says we can go to an outdoor gear shop later, but we might want to make a list of things to buy first. So yeah, let's not rush out and just get the special equipment. We might have to go back if we do that. So let's make a list of all the things we might need, and we'll make one trip to this outdoor gear shop later. We'll make that trip later after having made the list. Anyways, here we have the word gear to talk about. Gear is equipment in this case, and your hiking equipment is all the stuff you're going to need to go on a hike or to go hiking somewhere.
Now, Emily says, sure, that's good advice. We'll both need boots and several layers of clothing. So these are some things they'll need for their hike. Of course, hiking boots, not shoes, but boots. Boots are stronger, more durable, and of course, you can use them in different kinds of situations. And of course, layers of clothing. A layer is just like a certain piece of fabric. It could be quite thin. And for example, when I used to go cross-country skiing in my hometown, I wore layers of clothing because as you get moving on the skis, you start to get hot. So you need to remove things as you continue. So yes, you could have your underwear, you could have a shirt, and then you could have a coat over that. Those are different layers.
So, be prepared for the hike of a lifetime, but I'm also getting the feeling that, yes, the weather there could be really super unpredictable. Yeah, you start out on a nice summer day and you might just end up with hypothermia. Oh my goodness, that's what we'll talk about next. I'm being super surprised by this hike of a lifetime thing. Here I'm thinking it's just a day trip, but hey, on this trip a whole lot can happen. So hey, maybe you do want to buy a bunch of gear and be super prepared and buy a big bag with all your stuff. Oh my goodness, you might need several layers of clothing. And yeah, the outer layer, says Emily, must be waterproof because you can get hypothermia even in summer if you get soaked through. So, oh my goodness, this could be the hike of a lifetime, but it could also kill you if you're not properly prepared. How about that? How surprising is that? And Ava says more. She says, we'll need gloves as well if it gets that cold. So first Emily's talking about hypothermia. Now Ava's talking about gloves. And then she says, is there anything we're missing? And Emily says, I don't think so. We can hike it in a single day, so we won't need any camping stuff. So whew, good. We won't need to bring camping stuff. But yes, as far as the preparations are concerned, you're not going to want to leave anything out as far as clothing is concerned. Oh my goodness. And Ava says, well, that should definitely lighten the load.
They indeed, so they don't need to bring a tent and a sleeping bag and stuff like that. They just need some hiking gear, hiking equipment, and they should be good to go. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson. Now let's actually go to the hiking store and shop for equipment.
Shopping for equipment. Ava and Emily are at an outdoor gear shop picking out equipment for their trip.
There are a lot more choices than I was expecting. Should we ask for some help?
I don't see why not. Could you help us for a moment, please?
Sure. What can I do for you?
We're planning on hiking the Tongariro Alpine Crossing in New Zealand, and we're not sure which gear would be appropriate.
Let's start with boots. You're going to want a sturdy waterproof pair. I'd recommend mid-height boots because they provide ankle support.
Got it. What about clothing fabric?
I suggest either nylon or polyester. Both are lightweight and wick sweat from your body. If you don't like synthetic materials, you can go with wool instead.
Thank you. That was very helpful.
Some other things you might want to consider are a compass, water bladders, and trekking poles. Let me know if you have any more questions.
Will do. Thanks for your help.
第二部分我们看到单字 sturdy， 这个字是形容词，指坚固耐用的、强壮的。举例来说 A sturdy backpack should last you for years even if you use it every day. 一个坚固耐用的后背包可以让你用好几年，即使你每天都背也没关系。或是 Tony's dog isn't the fastest in the world, but it has a very sturdy build. Tony 的狗虽然不是世界上跑最快的，但是它的体型相当健壮。再来，我们看到一个单字 polyester， 这个字是名词，意思是聚酯纤维。我们可以说 I bought a dress which is made from polyester fabric. 我买了一件材质是聚酯纤维的洋装。另外补充2个材质相关的单字。第一 nylon 意思是尼龙，像是 Since nylon resists water, the material is used to make umbrellas. 因为尼龙防水，所以这种材质常被用来做雨伞。第二 linen 指亚麻布。举例来说Please put the white linen cloth on the table before you put the plates out. 把盘子拿出来前，请先把白色亚麻布铺在桌子上。最后，我们看到一个形容词 synthetic 指合成的、人造的，像是 Some wigs are made of synthetic hair. 有一些假发是用人造头发制成的。另外补充一个相关单字 artificial A-R-T-I-F-I-C-I-A-L artificial指人造的、假的。我们可以说 This flower looks real, but it's actually artificial and made of wax. 这朵花看起来像真的，但它其实是用蜡做的人造花。
All right, we're back. Part 2 is called Shopping for Equipment. Now, Ava and Emily are at an outdoor gear shop picking out equipment for their trip. They talked about taking this trip earlier. They put together a list of the things that they're going to need. Remember, they're going to go on the hike of a lifetime there, and they don't need to prepare everything like camping gear, but they can't leave anything out because even though it is summer in New Zealand, when they're going, they could get hypothermia. Oh my goodness, it's going to be super cold, possibly. Anyways, Emily says, there are a lot more choices than I was expecting. Should we ask for some help? So yes, outdoor gear shops are filled with stuff, so sometimes you need some help in figuring out what to buy.
Yep, they can be quite overwhelming. You've got lots of choices there. You may not know where to start. So yes, they're going to ask for some help. Ava says, I don't see why not. No harm in asking someone for help. And so Ava talks to a clerk there, and she has a question. Could you help us for a moment, please? Of course, the staff at those stores should be very helpful. Marvin is the clerk. He says, sure, what can I do for you? How can I help you? What do you need? And Emily says, well, we're planning on hiking the Tongariro Alpine Crossing in New Zealand, and we're not sure which gear, which equipment would be appropriate. Appropriate just means the right kind of gear or the right kind of thing for a certain situation.
Now, Marvin says, okay, you're going on the Tongariro Alpine Crossing there in New Zealand. Well, let's start with boots. You're going to need boots if you go on this hike. You're going to want a sturdy, waterproof pair. By the way, the whole waterproof thing, this whole water resistance thing, it's really important. If you get soaked through when you're doing this hike, you can get hypothermia, and getting hypothermia is definitely not a good thing. So yes, go ahead, get plenty of layers and make sure you are waterproofed, and that goes for your boots as well. You're going to want a waterproof pair of boots. By the way, if something is sturdy, it is well built and durable. It's not going to fall apart. It's not fragile at all.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to hike in slippers. They are not very sturdy. So Marvin goes on to say, I recommend mid-height boots. You know, they're not too tall, they're not too short, because they provide ankle support, because you're going to be stepping on rocks and stuff like that, and you don't want to break your ankle. Ava says, got it, I understand. What about clothing? Fabric. You could also say material. What kind of clothing should we bring? Should we bring polyester, nylon, cotton? And Marvin says, well, I suggest either nylon or polyester. These are artificial fabrics. Nylon is nilong, of course. Polyester is 聚酯纤维. Both are lightweight and wick sweat from your body. So they're light, they're not heavy, and they move sweat from your skin to the outer layers where it can evaporate. If you don't like synthetic materials, you can go with wool instead. Again, synthetic means artificial.
Nylon and polyester are made in a lab somewhere. They're synthetic materials, whereas wool, that is the hair, the fur of a sheep, okay? That actually occurs in nature. That's what wool is. Now, Emily says, thank you. That was very helpful. Thank you, Marvin. And then Marvin says, some other things you might want to consider are a compass, water bladders, and trekking poles. So, yes, you're going to need the things I talked about before, which isn't that much, let's face it. But, hey, this is kind of a challenging hike, so you might want to consider some other things as well, like a compass, some water bladders, and then also some trekking poles. And then Marvin says, let me know if you have any more questions. And Ava says, will do. Thanks for your help. So there you go. They're ready for their trip. They're ready for the hike of a lifetime. They are totally prepared.
And that brings us to the end of our explanation. Time now to turn things over to our very active Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。对话里面两位主角 Ava 和 Emily 在计划寒假的时候要去纽西兰旅行。他们到纽西兰的时候，那边会是夏天。那么 Ava 就说 We should do as many outdoor activities as possible. 我们应该尽可能多从事一些户外活动。好，那这边我们来介绍这个 as 什么什么 as possible 的用法。首先，我们在 as 什么什么 as possible 的中间来接形容词或副词的话，是表达说尽量怎么样，尽可能怎么样。例如 I'll pay you back as soon as possible. 我会尽快还你钱的。好，那第二种用法，我们是在 as 什么什么 as possible 中间接名词，那则是表达尽可能多怎么样。它的句型是 as many 复数可数名词加 as possible， 或是 as much 不可数名词加上 as possible。 像课文就是这样的用法哦，他写说 do as many outdoor activities as possible， 就是说尽可能多做多从事一些户外活动。好，那我们来造两个例句，分别是用可数名词跟不可数名词。第一个例句是 Ken always reads as many books as possible in his free time. Ken 总是在空闲时间尽可能多看书。好，再看另外一个例句 The doctor advised her to get as much rest as possible. 医生建议她尽可能多休息。好，接着对话主角在讨论去践行要准备的衣物。Emily 说外层一定要防水，因为即使在夏天，如果你全身湿透的话，还是会失温。这边他用到 waterproof 来形容防水的。那我们就顺便来学习名词搭配 proof 的用法。好 proof 这个字尾呢，它表示抗什么的，耐什么的，它是用来表达完全阻隔的语义。像 waterproof 就表示不透水的，完全防水的。Fireproof 是防火的，耐火的。Bulletproof 是防弹的。Soundproof 是隔音的。Windproof 是防风的。好，那顺便补充一下，如果我们是在名词后面接连字号，再接 resistant 表示抗什么的，抵挡什么的。那这个字是用来表达部分主角的语义。像如果我们看到 water resistant， 它表示防泼水的，那注意它跟 waterproof 的防水程度是不一样的哦。Water resistant 只是说它不容易被水毁坏或是冲掉，不容易透水，可是不代表它完全不透水。好，那其他还有像 flame resistant 表示抗燃的，阻燃的。Stain resistant 表示防污的。Disease resistant 表示抗病害的。还有 heat resistant 则是指耐热抗热的。好，以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Gear. Brian borrowed some fishing gear from his dad and headed to the lake. Layer. The outer layer of my jacket has a protective coating that helps keep out wind and water. Soak. If you completely soak the plants when you water them, they will get root rot. Sturdy. I don't think this chair is sturdy enough for me to stand on. Fabric. Fabric made of natural materials such as cotton often dries very slowly. Nylon. When Jocelyn went on a camping trip, she packed some nylon rope in case she needed to hang anything up.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.